science. As you all know that we have divided science into two major parts. One, let me give you physics and chemistry. Then number two is biology. Physics as such we are going to have 65 marks, and biology we will be covering 35 marks. Physics and chemistry, let's study the pattern. See, you are going to have the total structure divided into number one, MCQs, wherein you will have 10 questions of that nature, which is 1 into 10 equal to 10. Here I would like to read one major instructions to you people. It says like this: you need to choose the most appropriate alternative and write it in the space provided below. See, the most appropriate, when it says the four alternatives have some relations. These relations need to be checked and you need to reach the appropriateness. That is the number one criteria. Number two, we will be going on to answering the following in one sentences or one word. This covers 6 marks to you people. See, what I would request you is, when you concentrate on MCQs, you have to be very appropriate. And when you come down to this 1 mark questions, which is about sentences or a word, you need to be very exact in understanding what it is and how it is. Let us take some examples of it. See, I have a question on, name the two products obtained along with water when hard water containing calcium bicarbonate is boiled. And the two answers are calcium carbonate and carbon dioxide. If you write any other things other than this, you don't get the marks. Friends, I just want to remind you, when you answer one word sentences, or when you are answering the appropriate ones, you have to be very precise on it. This is the first major area. Then we would be covering the fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks, which covers 3 questions with 3 marks each. Last, we have answer the following. Answer the following, wherein it is 9 questions you have, 2 marks each, and it's going to be 18. Wonderful questions you are going to get, my dears, here, and you will have even diagrams. This is a challenging area to you and easy scoring too. I would suggest you have to concentrate on this particular part and you need to score the things very well. See, the questions would be like this: what are thermoplastics? Mention one of the use of each of these following. See, we have 2 thermoplastics. One is polythene, another one is nylon. Just mention the uses of it. You get the 2 marks, or those 2 marks are going to get set in your pockets. Then we have answer the following, wherein it is 4 into 3, 12 marks. Again, here one more diagram you need to concentrate. See, this itself will tell you that most of the paper of yours is out. Lastly, we have one answer the following, which covers 3 into 4, 12. See, here 4 questions with 3 marks, 3 questions with 4 marks. This ends your 65 marks paper. See, when you are planning this physics and chemistry, first main thing what you need to do is classification of this. The total number of chapters need to be divided systematically, and where all the diagrams are given as the major important ones, that you need to concentrate with. This is one of the very important or the key factor in understanding physics and chemistry. When we go on to the biology, it's very simple. You have MCQs, which is only 5 marks questions. Then you have match the following, same structure, again 4 marks. 2 to 3 sentences, you have 4 marks. 1 or 2 sentences, it's 6 into 2, 12, and lastly you need to answer 2 into 3, which is 6 marks. Here one diagram is compulsory. One diagram what we are going to concentrate is going to be the major highlight in 2 into 3, 6 marks. Friends, I'll give you some tips about the physics and chemistry which has the major terminologies involved in it. Let's have one by one. Dynamo. What is it? It's a device that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy by using the principle of electromagnetic induction, and this is what is called dynamo. Motor. Motor is a device that converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. See, you need to identify the differences. Dynamo and motor, keep side by side, try to identify the differences. Then, very important term, laser, L-A-S-E-R. It's actually an acronym. You need to know what it is. It is a device by producing highly intense narrow beam of nearly monochromatic light. Laser ranging, it's a technique by which the distance between 2 objects can be found accurately using laser reflectors called laser ranging. See, laser ranging is a common term that you can use even between 2 mobiles if there is a range. That's also called as ranging concepts. Semiconductors, those substances whose conductivity lies between that of conductors and insulators, and these are all called semiconductors. There are 2 types of semiconductors. One is N type, another one is P type. It is very important to know that what these conductors or semiconductors are going to be contained with. They are having a small amount of pentavalent impurity. For example, antimony or arsenic or phosphorus is introduced into the crystal of germanium. 4 out of 5 electrons of each impurity atom enters into blunt bonds with the nearest germanium atoms to form covalent bonds. This semiconductor becomes N-type semiconductor. When a trivalent impurity is introduced into a germanium crystal, the resulting semiconductor is called as P-type semiconductor. Please understand this very clearly. Then let's move on to one more term. There are 2 types of radios, AM, FM radios. Let's know about the radiation terminology. Radiations whose wavelength ranges from 0.1 angstroms to 100 angstroms is called X-rays. X-rays are made of 2 different things: to discover the fractures in bones, to detect the needles, coins, bullets that have entered the human body in the treatment of cancer, skin diseases, in radiography. These are all the uses of X-ray. Those radiations whose wavelength ranges from 0.01 angstroms to 0.1 angstroms are called gamma rays. They are used in the treatment of cancer to activate photoelectric effect in microscopes and in radiography. The waves whose range of wavelength lies between 0.04 nanometers to 10 nanometers are called microwaves. It finds its application in radar, satellite communication and microwave ovens. The waves whose range of wavelength lies between 750 nanometers and 0.4 nanometers. What is this called? Any idea? Yes, exactly, infrared radiation. It's applied for identification and in the determination of molecular structure, long distance photography, to detect enemy concentration, in telescopes to diagnose superficial tumors, dislocation of bones, and in remote control, etc. Photoelectric effect. It's the phenomenon of emission by materials under the action of light. Photoelectric cells are used to get electricity in sound reproducing, in counting machines, in burglar alarms. Those satellites whose period of revolution is the same as that of period of rotation of Earth is called geostationary satellites. Example, INSAT 1A, INSAT 3E, etc. The instruments used to lift rockets in space is called space vehicles. We have PSLV, ASLVs. The minimum velocity with which the body must be projected so that it escapes out of gravitational field is called exactly escape velocity. With respect to the Earth, the escape velocity, what is the value? Yes, 11.2 kilometers per second. The device that converts heat energy into the mechanical energy is called heat engine. We have external combustion engine, example, steam engine. The engine in which the combustion of fuel takes place inside the cylinder is called an internal combustion engine. We have 4 strokes in this: intake stroke, compression stroke, power stroke, exhaust stroke. 4 strokes engine, 4 stroke internal combustion engine. Crankshaft in an engine converts linear motion of the piston into rotation. Band of colors obtained by dispersion of a narrow beam of composite light called spectrum. This spectrum is a range of wavelength of about 400 nanometers to 750 nanometers. We term this as visible spectrum, VIBGYOR, VIBGYOR. Spectroscope is an instrument to obtain pure spectrum of a composite light using a prism. When a beam of monochromatic light is passed through benzene, the scattered light is no longer monochromatic. The scattered light contains higher, lower frequencies in addition to that of incident light, and this was termed as Raman effect. We celebrate this on 28th of February as National Science Day. Raman effect is applied to the study of molecules of various structures and molecular substances also. Ultrasonic waves are used to detect objects under water, position, direction, to find the speed if they are in motion. Exclusively, this is what is known as SONAR. What's it? Exactly, sonar. It's a device which identifies the movement of various other objects under the sea. Normally, submarines uses this very effectively. Ultrasonic sound scanners is an instrument which uses ultrasonic waves for getting images of internal organs of human body. This finds applications in the field of medicine. Doppler effect is an apparent change in the frequency of wave motion due to the relative motion between the source and the observer. Traffic control authorities uses Doppler effect to detect the vehicles which are crossing with the speed. Today we call those vehicles as interceptors. They stand here and there and watch your vehicles. If you are crossing with the overspeed or the speed which is not supposed to be maintained, suddenly they give you the bricks. And this device is used for the purpose of radar guns. The region beyond the chromosphere of the sun is called corona. When iron is formed at the innermost core of the big star, it explodes. What's it known as? Exactly, it's called supernova. The half-life of a radioactive element is defined as the time taken by radioactive sample of that element to get reduced to half of its initial amount. If the isotope of an element is radioactive, we call such isotopes as radioisotopes. Example, cobalt 60, carbon 14, so on and so forth. Nuclear fission, the reaction in which heavy nucleus is split into medium nuclei. Reaction in which heavy nucleus is split into two medium nuclei with the liberation of enormous amount of energy, and this is called nuclear fission. Let me take up an example here, friends. Uranium 92 with 235 plus 1 neutron when it is bombarded plus 1 barium, this releases out a barium with 141 and 56 plus another element krypton with 56 and 235 plus 3 neutrons with lots of energy. See, this equation, when you observe, nuclear fission is clearly made into the mind. Let me go into the further things. A nuclear reaction is which two or more light nuclei combine, in which two or more light nuclei are going to combine to form a heavier nucleus, releasing enormous amount of energy, which is called nuclear fusion. The property of spontaneous disintegration of certain unstable atom nuclei with the emission of certain radiations is called radioactivity. A device which controls the nuclear fission chain reaction to harness nuclear energy for peaceful purposes is called nuclear reactor. The one we have in a close by place at Kaiga. The region in space where gravitational field is highest is called black hole, given by Chandrasekhar. Absolutely. Friends, these are all some of the terminologies which you have to study if you want to be more and the most appropriate students in physics and chemistry. Is this clear to you? I'll give you some terminologies of chemistry now. Electronic configuration of copper. 29. You have to be very, very careful while representing it. Cu 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Here comes 3d10, 4s1. You have to be very, very appropriate in putting up this. Normally it is supposed to be 3d9 and 4s2, but as per the rule and the state, this is going to be 3d10 and 4s1, where you have to be very careful. Ores of copper. Ores of copper, copper, pyrites, cuprite. These are the ores of copper. Alloys of copper: brass, bronze, German silver, gunmetal. Brass, bronze, German silver, gunmetal. See, these are the alloys of copper. I would suggest you break this, identify its components. A home assignment to you people here. Electronic configuration of iron: 26, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d6, 4s2. Ores of iron: hematite, magnetite. Alnico is the alloy of aluminium, nickel, iron, cobalt. Very, very important question. Many a times this question has been put to you. Either the compositions they ask or the constituents they ask. Alnico is a alloy of aluminium, nickel, iron, cobalt. Steel, an alloy of iron and carbon. The small ingredients, you have to be very careful in presenting it. Silicon carbide, we call it as an artificial diamond. CNG, compressed natural gas. Electronic configuration of carbon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. What are polymers? These are the synthetic substances, a very long chain of monomers called as polymers. When synthetic plastic is sandwiched between two thin glass sheets, what do we get? Guess? Yes, safety glass. Raw materials used for cement: clay, limestone. You have to be very careful. Clay and limestone. Plastic is a synthetic material manufactured from the polymerization of organic monomers. We have thermoplastics like PVC, polystyrene, and thermostatic plastics, bakelite, silicon. Then permuted process, what's it? See, it is usage of sodium, aluminium silicate for what? For the removal of hardness. So we have two types of hardnesses: temporary hardness, permanent hardness. Whenever bicarbonates are there, you get temporary hardness. When you have chlorides, sulfates, phosphates, some such factors, they are all going to lead to permanent hardness. Let me give you one simple example which says when heated temporary hard water, how it gets converted into soft water. I'll give you an CaHCO3 twice gives CaCO3 plus H2O plus CO2 bicarbonate. Similarly, MgHCO3 twice gives MgCO3 H2O plus CO2. See, temporary hardness is being removed and the water that has come out is soft. This is one of the important things that you have to remember in understanding how temporary hardness and permanent hardness are going to be taken out. Metallic salts prepared from natural fats are called soaps. Metallic salts prepared from natural fats. Please remember this. Synthesized soap with surface activity is called detergent. Detergents are sodium salts of long chain benzene sulfonic acid or sodium salts of long chain alkyl hydrogen sulfate. Long chain hydrocarbons obtained from petroleum are treated with concentrated sulfuric acid. The organic acids produced during this process with sodium hydroxide introduced in it going to neutralize this reaction, and the resultant is sodium salt of the product. We call it as detergent. A star of magnitude +5, 4 times brighter than the star of magnitude of +1. Please remember, this is one of the calculations that we use in calculating the 2.5 times calculation. I should have given you this in physics, still it's fine. I want you to remember these points. Let me take up some terminologies of biology. Pygmy shrew is the smallest mammal. Beaver is called the architect of the animal world. The blue whale is the largest known aquatic mammal. Bat is a flying mammal. Sloth is the mammal that can walk and sleep upside down. Please try this at home and check whether you can go with this. Platypus is the only found egg-laying mammal. The spicale branch bearing an aston of flowers is called, bunch of flowers is called what? Inflorescence. The branch of biology studying tissues and their organisms is called histology. The short brush-like structure arising from the cell body are called dendritide or dendrite. Tiny gap between successive neurons is called synapse. Cardiac musculature or involuntary muscles, these are responsible for your lub-dub heartbeat. The Ting cell fragments which bring about the clotting of blood platelets. The condition caused due to underactivities of thyroid gland is called myxedema. The condition caused to short secretion of thyroxine is Nyberg-Brats is called cretinism. Cretination. Thyroxine is called personality hormone. If you want to look like Hrithik Roshan, this is the one such hormone, it should work like that. Bone marrow produces blood cells. The white blood cells in lymph are called phagocytes. They remove bacteria and foreign bodies from the tissue. Dresser is an insectivorous plant. Adrenaline is called emergency hormone. The middle ear is connected to the throat by an air passage called extra chain tube. The automatic response to an external stimulus is called reflex action. NACO, Indian National AIDS Control Organization, established in 1992. Harmony are the clinical message of the human body. FPO, Food Processing Organization. Lactometer, it's used to measure the density of milk. Prevention of Food Adulteration Act was promulgated in the year 1954. HIV, Human Immunodeficiency Virus. Parathormone controls the amount of calcium salts in blood and bone. The excess secretion of thyroxine results in acromegaly. Xylemad phloem are together arranged in the form of vascular bundles. WAF, World AIDS Foundation. Please remember, these are the important terminologies that you have to practice again and again. Let me take up some important concepts chapter by chapter in physics, chemistry and bio. Let me give you some important elements. Chapter 1, electromagnetic induction. Here you need to know terminologies like magnetic effect, EMF, voltmeter, electromagnetic induction, magnetism produced through electricity, galvanometer, Michael Faraday's laws, Joseph Henry's concepts, Fleming's right hand rule, which is also known as dynamo rule, Fleming's left hand rule, also known as motor rule, AC dynamo, DC dynamo and DC motor. If you study these terms, you are going to concentrate the complete areas, and you have to be very clear about AC dynamo, DC dynamo structures. These diagrams are very important from the point of examination, and if you study this, I would suggest you some 6 to 8 marks is going to be there in your pockets. Why don't you concentrate on it? So let's be very clear about 2-3 terms. Now Fleming's left hand rule, it's also called as motor rule. According to this rule, when you stretch a finger like this, middle finger, thumb finger and the forefinger, what it represents? You have to be very careful. Forefinger, middle finger and thumb finger, they are perpendicular to each other. They show the direction of magnetic field, current respectively, and the thumb points the direction of motor or the force acting on the conductor. That's about it. Then let's study the armature, electric external circuit, commutators, induced current and split rings. These are the terms that are involved in the electric motor. Let's go to the second topic, very important area, electromagnetic radiation. See, this has got a lot of interlinks with respect to the first chapter. When we are studying in the first chapter, we are concentrating on different terminologies related to it. When we come into this particular chapter, we would be focusing on energy factor. So let me take up the second topic, electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation talks about energies, heat energy, sound energy, radiational energies, electromagnetic radiation. Who gave this concept? James Clerk Maxwell. It was emphasized by Heinrich Hertz. Direction of the movement of electromagnetic waves. That was one of the main concepts that was given by Hertz. Then frequency of the electromagnetic waves. That's why it's been given, the values are being expressed in Hertz only. Velocity of the electromagnetic wave, C is equal to F lambda. C is velocity, F focal length, frequency, and lambda wavelength.